This is Cas for the Nora, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
Good evening and welcome to the Chat with Chaps live show. I'm your host, Joe Zampa, and tonight I've got a fantastic panel of co-hosts. Hope you like that little intro there. I was running out of intros to put out, so I thought that one was quite suited to where I'm feeling at the moment after four miserable games to cover. First of all, massive shout out to our fantastic sponsor Spectrum VR. You can see that at the bottom of our screen there. Make sure you contact those guys for any body shop repairs. And also, again, just a quick reminder to please like and subscribe to Chat with Chaps and to like this show as well. As you know, it all helps with the algorithms, and everything we make for this channel goes to Cancer Research UK. So you can do your bit just by liking, subscribing, and even after the show, even if you watch this back as a recorder, just do a little comment at the end. It just helps draw more traffic to the show. Okay, without further ado, I want to introduce my fantastic lineup here. First of all, it's the Danish destroyer himself, Jesper Demgaard. How you doing, Jesper? You good?
I'm good, yeah. I mean, despite the recent run of the Souls, it's always a pleasure to be here. So, yeah, I'm happy to be back on.
Good stuff. Good to have you. And then second is the one and only TikTok George. How you doing, George? You good?
Very good, Joe. Pleasure to be here as always. Fingers crossed, unlike the team, we can get through 90 minutes without any injuries, eh? That would be great.
Exactly. Make sure we don't sort of fall over or drop a glass on our foot or something, maybe. And last but certainly not least is Tristan Kramer's wife-to-be, although he doesn't know this yet. So how you doing, Bex? You good?
Yeah, no, I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, great to be back. I'm not saying much about Tristan.
Brilliant. And also before we go to our chat, just want to do a quick shout out to Husey, one of our listeners, part of the Chat with Chaps family. Just a quick get well messages for you regulars out there. You probably know that unfortunately Husey was diagnosed with prostate cancer a little while ago. So he actually had his prostate removed last Friday. So as you can appreciate, he's in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. And on behalf of Chat with Chaps, the panel and all the viewers, just want to wish him the very best in his recovery, and just let him know we're all thinking of you, Husey. So hopefully we'll see you back on very, very soon. So we're gonna go to the chat now. Last week I got a bone to pick here with Stato. Now, when we had this bet, can we do the shout outs under a minute? It doesn't mean just shout everyone's name out one by one. You have to introduce. You got to say hello. You got to acknowledge them. At least read some of the comments. It's not a register. You're not a school teacher in primary school, you know. So anyway, that's a poor attempt. I want to see you do better next time. You get a D- for that one. So first of all, we're going to go to the comments now. And guys, if you don't like this, if you're listening back, just fast forward a minute, and we'll see you in a minute's time. But I'll try and make this as quickly and as less painful as possible. So first of all, through the house is Anthony Smith. Billy Smith, how you doing, Billy? Hope you're well. The one and only John MFC. Fantastic. Cheers, John. Very kind, £10 donation, really kind of you. Thank you so much, mate. Hope you and the family are good. Carl, hope you're well, mate. Hope to see you again later in the show. Alex, bang on time, mate. Jesus, you're getting early and early every week. Friend of the show, Jeff Chandler, how are you, mate? The one and only Chris Brown, hope you're doing well, Chris. George, good to see you. Jeff Cook, how are you, mate? Ben out, revenge. Is that a hater for Ben Green? Hope you're well, mate. John C, hope you're good. GB404, hope you're well, mate. There's George again. Cole Bates, how you doing, Cole? Evening troop, hope you're well, mate. Cole, you were absolutely brilliant at the live show. Honestly, you're staking a claim here. You might actually have to take over my job doing the lives. You're that good. So fantastic to have you on the live with us, Carl. Hope to see you on again very soon. And we've lost Bex. I think she's passed out because Carl Bates is here. Sig Beefy, evening all. Hope you're well. The lovely Rosalind, how are you? Hope you're good. Colin, good to see you. Jimmy, how are you? Borg Elite, hope you're well. Max, good to see you. George, again, just speedy recovery. There you go. Fantastic. Gaz Lyon, good to see you, mate. Andy Herbert, how are you? Saw you miss last week. What miss? What are you talking about, Andy? And there you go. Boom. Now, hopefully, we'll see Bex back soon. Hang on. Bex,
Sorry.
what happened? That wasn't Tristan that called you, was it?
Yeah, I wish. No, you all froze.
Was he rang you, ask where his dinner is? Is that the pub, is he? Where is it? Right. Guys, thank you everyone in the chat. We're going to now talk about Saturday's game. So obviously, 4th game without a win, Jesper. And as you know, the game finished Portsmouth 3, Millwall 1. Lots to talk about. But just first of all, what's your quick sort of overview of the game and the performance?
I think it was just a very poor performance. Not Birmingham poor, but I don't think we were quite at the races. It showed. Obviously, unfortunately, we lost 2 with injuries again. Reckless challenge by Joe Bryan as well. Unnecessary red card as well. So that was just the icing on the cake, wasn't it? So overall, just a really, really bad day at the office. As I think it was Andy Marshall who was co-commentating, wasn't it? And he said it was just, the last 10 minutes he was just like, get it done, and get into the bus and go home and then prepare for tomorrow. I couldn't agree more. It was just poor all the way around, from the team's effort to poor individual performances, and no one really covered themselves in glory. I can't even mention one who I thought was fairly decent. So, no, poor showing, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And again, great shout out to Andy Marshall. I thought he'd done brilliant alongside the legend Carl Bates. I'm sure Carl would agree as well. Coming to your next, Bex, what was your overview on the game? Obviously, a bit of a miserable night. Rain was pouring. Could have been great conditions for the boys, but both teams are playing in the same conditions. So what's bad for one is bad for the other, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. We just didn't turn up, to be honest with you. At one point, I think we kind of, when we got that goal, we livened a little bit. And I thought, well, maybe we might start to get that, kind of pull it back a bit. But we just didn't show up. We made them look really good, to be honest with you. And like Jesper said, there isn't anyone that you can really pick out of that team that really stood out, because I think every single one of them, they just didn't show up on the pitch, unfortunately. It was just a really shit, miserable day, to be honest with you. It was my first away game of the season as well, and I just thought, all of them to pick. But yeah, like obviously we gained another 2 injuries, not ideal, because that takes another 2 people out of the very small squad that we've already got. Joe Bryan's now out when we obviously need that to cover the injury. It was just a poor day, and I'd like to think that maybe we're going to pick up, but I'm feeling a little not very optimistic about it at the minute.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of us share that thought. Cheers to that, Bex. And then come to yourself, George. What's your overall sort of view of the performance and the display?
Just following up really from what the both of them said, maybe a little bit harsh. I thought it was a complete disaster, really, from start to finish. I mean, it was a really, really poor showing from Millwall, a really bad day at the office, and I think it once again highlights when we self-implode, we self-implode. Like, we really do. 5 losses so far this season, 16 goals conceded in those games, and just 1 scored, which again shows how incapable we are at turning around deficits in games. Again, the real lack of self-belief and just the limited number of options we've got now all over the pitch is now glaring. Another 2 injuries, and then the red card from Joe Bryan, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. Just so needless, so very careless and needless, and it just about summed up a really poor day at the office in really bad conditions as well. You got to shout out the 2,100 Millwall fans who made the trip to Fratton Park, because it was a really poor day at the office, wasn't it?
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a bad performance. You want the players to show up, and they just didn't do that. Sorry, we've got Mark just wants to say something. What's that, Mark?
Fucking shit players.
Yeah, I agree with him. I agree. No, you're completely right, George. So look, we'll try and dissect it as best as we can. Okay, we'll start with yourself first, Bex. Obviously, we set up with what looked like a back 5. with Doughty coming, which is great to see Doughty. It's great to see Danny McNamara in. Sturge sort of played in a back three with Caleb Taylor and Tristan, your husband, to be on the right hand side of that back three. What did you make of that? We had Langstaff playing in like a 10 or on the left of Ballo with Ivanovic up top, and of course we had Billy Mitchell and Del Boy in the middle. What did you make of that lineup and the way it was set up?
It didn't really. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I think because we've been watching what we've been watching. I just felt it did feel a little bit igglety-pigglety. It was great to see Danny back. It was great to have Alfie back. But I think you could really see that they lacked the experience of game time in that respect. I felt like Alfie, yes, he had that speed, but it just felt like he had the speed, but he didn't really go anywhere with it. And then Danny obviously also was getting forward, but then he wasn't necessarily getting back as quick as we'd want him to, or like, as quick as we've been watching. And I did feel that we were kind of being left open a bit. But again, that was probably down to the fact of the way that we was all set up. The middle, obviously at the back middle, Caleb Taylor, to me, he's just all arms and legs. I don't see £3 million worth of player in him at the minute. Again, probably because we've seen Jake and Tristan, that really strong unit. So yes, you take that away and we watch something of a different player, but he just doesn't have that kind of oomph that I feel that we need, that strength and
aggression. We go faster, aggression, determination.
I think he's there and everything's like it is everything. I just see arms and legs and he's just all over the place, to be honest with you. And then obviously Zach kind of coming that little bit further over and into the middle. I don't think it really suited him. It didn't suit his style of play. He just looked completely out of sorts. Did you want me to continue with everybody else? Or
no, I tell you what, that's the defence cover. Let's talk about the middle of the park. I mean, coming to yourself, George, next. Apparently, Casper won the most tackles in the game alongside Delboy, but he actually, according to, I'm not sure what the website is now, Football Stats, where it was. Does that surprise you in any way at all? It was at that kind of game where we're just constantly having kind of put out fires, it felt.
Well, that's just Casper doing Casper, isn't it? I mean, he's just such a good, important player for us. I think the debate before the game was what system or what formation were Millwall going to go with, because without Jake Cooper, with Ryan Leonard being out injured, who did you move to right back? Who did you fit at centre back? And he decided to change the whole system as a whole. And I just sat there and I was thinking, does one player really mean that you have to change the whole system? There was one player really. I didn't feel like the change of system was necessary. I think you look at Zach Sturge playing in a left centre-back role, if you like to call it, just didn't really suit him. Danny Mack playing further up a right wing-back, which has been tested plenty of times in previous times under Gary Rowett. I mean, we know full well that Danny McNamara can't play as a right wing-back. And it just looked like the whole team was just a little bit disjointed. We didn't to be a little bit harsher again, we didn't really have a clue, did we? Was it a 4-4-2? Was Dougherty a little bit further forward? Was Zach Sturge at left back, or was he left centre back? I don't think anyone really had a clue. It all looked really disjointed, and the outcome of the game was a well-deserved Pompey win, because they were the better side on the day. They looked more up for it. They scored really good goals, and Millwall struggled to sustain any sort of types of attacks. We didn't win any second balls. We were just all over the place. Our press was all wrong. It was just a disaster from start to finish, really.
No, I completely agree with you, George. We were definitely looking out of sorts. So it did feel like there's no consistency there, is there? So it's one thing trying to deal with a change of players and whatnot, but then changing formation, a game like that, do we have to change formation? I don't know. And then Jesper, just coming to you a little bit further up the pitch. We had Langstaff sort of playing in this sort of number 10 role, if you like, and Ivanovic again up on his own, isolated with Ballo sort of on the right-hand side. You like to think that maybe Doughty was trying to give us a little bit of width on the left, but it didn't quite get far up the pitch, did he, Doughty? He's almost playing more of a left back as opposed to a left winger. What did you make of our attacking presence, and what's your thoughts on Langstaff in that number 10 role?
I believe this was his first start, wasn't it, for us, Langstaff, this season, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to touch on something else first, and that was that we had Caleb Taylor, we had Danny McNamara, who's not played a lot of football, and Danny Mac playing together with Caleb, Masusako, Ballo, Doughty, which he has never done before. It was a very patched up team. Langstaff making his first start of the season. Just so many players that hadn't played a lot of football. Doughty coming back as well, who hasn't played a lot of football. So it was not only had the players not played a lot together, it was also they had played very few minutes in the team as well. And that's what you could see, I think. It was very disjointed. You could see that they were not used to playing with each other, and that takes a bit of time. And again, I'm not making excuses here, but you could see that. And I also think the way we played in the first half, we weren't lumping it, but we were going very direct. And that's not Ivanovic's game if we have to touch on the forward players. You've got Ballo, you've got Ivanovic, you've got Langstaff. They're not big players. You need to get the ball down on the ground to make these players work, and we didn't. And then they're going to look really poor as well. I think Ballo completely disappeared, and I think secondly, he doesn't. For me, it seems like it's not working when he's playing on the right side. He looks like a player who has to play either in behind the striker or on the left. That's where we've seen the best from him. So I'll be very disappointed if he starts on the right tomorrow. So I didn't think it worked at all. I think Ivanovic did what he could. I was really happy he scored. I know it sounds ridiculous, but for him, just to get goals is so important for his self-confidence because he's really struggling to get into games as well when we play the way that we did at Pompey. So, but I think it was just very disappointing. Apart from, I think, Sako's chance in the first half and then the goal, we don't really create anything and we look toothless, and it has to change tomorrow. Something has to change tomorrow formation-wise and personnel as well. We need to make changes up front to be more dangerous.
Cheers for that, Jesper. Bex, what do you make of Ballo? A lot of fans have noticed he does seem to be more effective on that left side, sort of cutting in. And more notably, he played a lot better when Aziz was in the team on the other side. It seems like the last 4 games since Aziz got injured, he's kind of tailed off a little bit in his performances. What do you put it down to?
I think, I feel like his confidence has gone a little bit because he did speak about that the partnership that he had with Aziz quite strongly from what I remember in one of the post interviews that he done. And it, as Jesper said, like I've noticed you put him on the right and he's not even a quarter of the player that we've been seeing on the left. He's definitely, I think, a lot stronger down that left side. I don't know, is it because of the people that he's playing with on the right? I don't actually think it is, to be honest with you. I think it's just that he's not a right-sided player. I think his strengths lie on the left, being able to get down the left-hand side, cut it in and coming back into the middle. And it does concern me if Alex is going to keep putting him over onto the right. But I think when obviously they moved him back, because they moved him back over to the left, didn't they? Come to the end of the game, from what I remember before the end of the game.
When Marku came on,
and then they moved him back over, and then he perked up a little bit, and it was like, okay, he's back in the game. He's obviously shown something in training to show that he can play over on that right, and that's why they're going, oh, let's put him over there. But I think it's really proving that his strengths are not down the right-hand side. He needs to be keeping on the left. But also, I'd just like to point as well that obviously we had Zach Sturge that he was linking up really well with. Obviously, taking Zach out of that equation now. Is it that he's just got a few players that his strengths lie within? Because they're the players that we've seen him really strong with. That's a little bit of a concern for myself as well. Not really knowing who I left.
Yeah, all excellent points. I think he was very vocal to it, wasn't he? So was Zach Sturge about their friendship, their kind of sort of bromance, if you like, that they were forming. And he mentioned, as you say, about Aziz on the other side of them forming up that kind of understanding, of switching the play to each other.
Sorry, he just looks really uncomfortable on the right hand side, doesn't he? And if you notice, a lot of games this season, majority of our attacks are down our left hand side. Not a lot come down our right. Even when Ryan Leonard was fit, a lot comes down our right hand side. They come maybe down the left. Good point. I just feel like Tieno Ballo is so uncomfortable on that right hand side because his natural position is on that left hand side as an inverted winger. So you put him out on the right hand side, and he just doesn't look as confident. He doesn't look like he's got anything about him.
You know what, George? I noticed that particularly it would be the Birmingham game after the Oxford game, and he started on that right hand side. And I think everyone that watched him that day saw the amount of times the balls played to him high up the pitch on the right hand side, and he would not take the fullback on. He kept trying to turn back and play the ball backwards and come back inside again. He was too scared to go wide, take the player on. Whereas on the left-hand side, the first thing in his head was take the full back on. Go on, Beck. Sorry, you were saying
No, I was just going to say, he reminds me, like on that right hand side, like you said, like he kind of gets the ball and he wants to turn around. He kind of reminds me a little bit of what David Livermore was like, going around in a bit of a circle to get himself into that position, to get himself where he needs to be. He's like a lost schoolboy. It's like someone's gone,
confidence.
Here we go, go over there.
You said that, didn't you, earlier? It's a confidence thing, I think, maybe, you know, and it's a shame. But, you know, I'm a great believer. You got to play players in their best positions where they feel most comfortable. That's where they're going to excel, aren't they, you know? George, obviously, we covered the Ballo bit. I just also want to get your thoughts on Langstaff. Clearly, Alex Neil is a fan of his. Why might he choose Langstaff to start, in your opinion, ahead of Race Bangor Williams? I mean, that is the elephant in the room again, isn't it? Once again, and I know we keep banging on that drum every week. It doesn't seem to get us anywhere, but you know, it's a topic that needs to be raised and discussed, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, really, because after the game, Alex Neil said that the reason why he went with Langstaff and he went with Danny Mack and he went with Doherty was because he wanted to maximise the squad. But I think it's fair to say he got this decision pretty wrong, because whether or not you saw it as a 2 up front or whether or not you saw it Langstaff just slightly off of Ivanovic playing almost as an inside left forward, he didn't suit that role at all. And all in all, our attacks, we didn't sustain any good attacks going forward. All of our threat was mainly just through set pieces, and all our striker, Ivanovic and Langstaff, they were both really isolated. So it didn't work. And also, like Jasper said, it's his first game he started all season. So maybe just a little bit of naivety, if I've said that right? Naivety to play Langstaff when he hasn't played all season, to play Danny Mack when he's just come back off 11-month injury, just to play Alfie Doherty when he's not played any minutes since August. You know, Caleb Taylor, brand new to the club, hasn't played many minutes at all. Maybe just a little bit naive from Alex Neil there in terms of his team selection. And I do believe that at the moment in time, our strikers are really bang out of form at the moment. Ivanovic, I know he scored 2 and 2, but prior to that, he was bang out of form. I'm not totally against giving Macaulay Langstaff an opportunity. But wherever Alex Neil wanted him in this system, it clearly didn't work because it was so isolated.
Cheers, that George. Jesper, I want to get your thoughts on the Langstaff situation. I mean, one of the things that sticks in my mind is when the interview with is it Will Scott at News at Den, Southern News, when he asked the question to Alex Neil about Race Bangor Williams, and he talked about, you know, how he's a big fan of his, and yeah, he made it clear that he was the one who gave him his debut, and you know, blah blah blah. But he also questioned what he needs to do. And he talked about him needing to be more aggressive, and you know, perhaps wanting to sort of run around a little bit more, do a bit more work off the ball. Could that be a reason why Langstaff was chosen ahead of him to play in that 10? It seems like, you know, playing the 10 isn't how you and I or anyone else would think, oh, I'm a 10. It's someone who's creative, is going to get you goals, going to create goals. He sees it more as a defensive unit. You know, the number 10 is the one who sets off the press. You know, you've got to be so clear, you've got to know when to go, when to hold back, when to sit, when to mark, you know. So we're not thinking attacking. He's thinking defensively on number 10 role. So could that be a reason? Does he feel that Langstaff can do that job better? Hence the reason why he was picked over Race Bangor Williams in that 10. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something out of it. You know, try and work it out.
It's a very good question. I think we've been debating this now for quite a few evenings now. Why he's not playing and the reason why he's not picked. I don't see Macaulay Langstaff as a Millwall type of player. When he used to score 250 goals or whatever for Notts County, you know, they were sort of top of the league. They were dominating games. They were creating a lot of chances. They were playing 2 up front, and he was always playing on the shoulder of the defense. And, you know, at League 2 level.
He's a poacher, isn't he? He's a poacher.
And at League 2 level, you know, you have to remember he was 27 when you signed him, and the highest he ever played is League 2 level. It's a big risk for us to sign a player at that age to come in and think he can dominate the championship. That's one thing. And I think he's been given a fair amount of chance. I just think this league is a level too steep for him, to be honest. And the way we're set up and the way we play, I just don't think he will get the chances that he needs to convert them. And to be fair, the chances he's had, he's not put them away, has he? I mean, he scored, a couple of goals for us. And I don't see him fitting this system as well. which play he was. I thought he was completely lost on Saturday. I thought Ivanovic was at least where he was supposed to be. Langston just seemed to run around and didn't know where to position himself. And going back to RBW, I know we're going to talk about tomorrow's game a bit later on, but I would say if he doesn't get more than 5 or 10 minutes, as you said, I would be very surprised. I think this game tomorrow would suit him. We're playing a big team. We need technical players on the pitch tomorrow. And yeah, I know we're going to touch on it, but I'm just going to say now, I would like to see a triangle of Luke Condell, Kasper De Noor, and RBW tomorrow. Where they're going to play, it's not so important for me whether he plays in the 10 or he plays in the 8 or in the 6 or whatever. I just want to see them in there because they can get on the ball. Luke Condell is a little terrier. You got Kasper's tenacity as well. Surely you can fit RBW into that triangle and make it work for tomorrow. So
that's not a bad shout. As you say, Jess, we'll touch on that a little bit later on the show. But you're right. Maybe if Alex Neil is not sure whether Race does enough off the ball and doesn't run around like a headless chicken as much, then you've got the legs, as you say, with Condell, with Kasper behind him doing that midfield work, and just put RBW in that number 10 where he can actually make things happen. I think Ivanovic is starving for creativity at the moment, and Reyes Banguro's proved he can play with him. He set up 2 of his goals last season and played them a few times. The under 21s, they've clearly got an understanding amongst them. So, but look, we're dissecting a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit digressing. We are going to go back to that a little bit later. I'm going to come back to yourself now, Bex, with regards to Danny McNamara. What do you make of his performance? I mean, a lot of people were very, very pleased to see him back. A lot of people were saying that his performance wasn't great. Obviously, clearly he's been out a long time. He looked a little bit shaky, but what do you make of him?
Yeah, it was great to see him back on the pitch, and it was great in the respect that he has that passion that we kind of like to see in Millwall players. He kind of knows what we want as fans, but you could really see that he hasn't played the minutes at this level. Yes, you can still see that player was there that he was last year, but I really don't feel that he's quite ready to start. To be fair, I thought he was going to be a player that we saw come on later in the game. I didn't expect to see him from the off, just purely on the fact that he's coming back from that recovery. And I think as well with the weather, that was kind of a bit, I know it sounds really silly, but that was a bit of my concern that actually the way that the weather was kind of panning out, he could have just injured really easily. And I think that for myself was like, we're trying to get him back and we could just be sending him back off to the physio's room. Not that anyone wants to really go there at the minute. But I think you could see that he's, I don't know. I just feel really mixed about actually him being there, because I did feel, because of the way we were set up, he was leaving us open at the back, and he just didn't have that speed and that pace that we need at the minute. He's not got that level quite yet to kind of keep up with the games. Yes, it was nice to have him.
It was a bit rogue, wasn't it, to start Danny Mac in general? It was a very rogue decision, because when you're out for 11 months, that's a long time out. And I know he's played a couple of under-21s games, but that's different. So championship,
different level. You're right,
different level. So it was always a very rogue decision. That was again the debate before the game. I don't think he wasn't at fault for any of the goals.
No,
but you could just see he's just a couple of yards off it still. He's just a couple of yards off it, and that's why I personally wouldn't have brought him in.
He just felt a little bit lost at times. I think he just looked a little bit lost at times, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like I said, it was nice to see him, and I think the fans were really pleased to see him back on the pitch. But I just don't think he's quite ready to be thrown in so quickly for so many minutes. So that's
Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that, Jesper? I mean, obviously, it's his first game back. Lots of fouls committed. We all like to see that part of Danny McNamara's game. Also fouls drawn. I think he was in a lot of battles. He was clearly up for it, which is what we want to see. But he did look a little bit rusty, didn't he?
He did, and so he should be, because 11 months out in professional football is a very, very long time, especially with the type of injury he's had. So I thought we would have seen either Wes Harding on right back, and maybe Danny coming on second half, or maybe even, as we spoke about, you could have played maybe Kamal Grant and Caleb. and move Tristan to right back, but it wasn't to be. So whether he'll start tomorrow, we'll see. Jake Cooper is obviously back, so playing the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, we could maybe move Tristan to right and playing Caleb in the center with Jake. So, and I think you have to protect Danny as well. I don't think he's ready to go 90. We're playing midweek now as well, so he needs to be looked after as well. So I'd be surprised if he starts tomorrow. Put it that way. The problem is that we don't have a left back for tomorrow. We got Alfie Doughty, who's also just come back, and does he have 90 minutes? I doubt it. So my guess would be that Alfie starts left back, and you could maybe put Danny on left back, say after an hour, maybe 65 minutes.
Which he's shown he can do. He can play that
Which
side.
he can do,
well.
because I think they both need minutes, but none of them are able to complete 90 minutes right now. I don't think so.
Good point. And Bex, what do you make of Alfie Doughty? Apparently, according to playerstats.com or something out there, again, he recorded the most shots at goal. Good energy down that left, I think, before going off. I think he came off at 63 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, good energy going down. And he was showing that he's got that ability, I think, to come back. And I think he's showing what he can do. But again, he's not got that full 90 minutes in him, and we need players that are going to be playing 90 minutes. And I think it's just proven at the minute that our depth of our squad is really small, and we haven't got anyone to be replacing the players that we're losing. He was quick. I did find that his feet moved quicker than he did sometimes, so the ball was kind of running away with him. But he's showing, I think, what we all thought he would do, and what we was expecting him. And that's what everyone's kind of been crying out for him to be back on the pitch. Personally, I would prefer Zach Sturge kind of down there. And I'm still kind of, my view on him is kind of still a little bit out, because we've barely seen anything of him. We're just hearing what he can do, but we're not really seeing the full potential of him. But it was nice to see him on the pitch.
No, I agree. What about yourself, George? What do you make of Doughty's performance yesterday? So he brings the quality, doesn't he?
Yeah, the bottom line is he needs more minutes, doesn't he? Because again, he's another one who's been out. He's been on sort of the verge, hasn't really played a lot of football since he's been at the football club. And there's no doubt that he's got quality. We've seen that in glimpses at the start of the campaign. He just needs to play more regularly, and he's got an opportunity now because he started on Saturday with Sturge out injured for a couple of games with concussion, and then you've got Joe Bryan suspended. You look like he's gonna play at left back potentially tomorrow, so he's got an opportunity now to get some more minutes under his belt.
Just whatever you want to add to Doughty in his performance and what you saw from him.
I think he looked all right. Again, hasn't played a lot of minutes, and I think that showed as well. But he is a good footballer when he's fit. He's got a very good left foot, and also for set pieces, I think he will get a few assists this season. So, good to see him back. I am just so worried with 3 games in a week that he's going to get injured, and I don't want to jinx anything. I'm just fingers crossed that he's going to get through, and still be fit on Saturday 6:00, because I'm questioning it somehow. I don't know why.
Same yourself, Jesper. Obviously, Zach Sturge, as we spoke about, he took a bit of a brutal sort of ball bang in the face from close range, didn't he? And he went down, looked sort of semi-unconscious. Obviously, the game was stopped, and I believe he had, according to the Sun newspaper, he had to be taken to hospital for precautions, for scans, and all that sort of stuff. So to follow the club to follow the concussion protocols, which certainly means that he'll miss Sheffield Wednesday. I think it's a week's worth of football. So I don't know if that's correct or not, Jesper, but that will obviously mean that he'll miss Southampton, and then next Saturday against Bristol City away as well. So how impactful is that now with regards to Sturge and what this means? We talk about players stepping in at the moment. Doughty's not ready to do 90 minutes. Again, it's another problem we've got there, haven't we?
It is. I'm not sure if he's going to miss the Bristol City game, because he got injured against Portsmouth, so he's got this recovery program that means that he can't play for the next week. I think Carl, if you're listening, you said that on the radio as well against Portsmouth.
Carl, Put it in the comments, Cole.
So it's a huge loss, and then with Joe obviously getting sent off as well. You know, we got Doughty and Danny Mack now, who needs to cover tomorrow. And I'm not saying taking Sheffield Wednesday lightly at all, but my biggest concern is obviously for Saturday when we're playing Southampton at home, who's going to be a really, really tough opponent. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge loss. I think he's done well, since coming in here in the summer and starting to stake his claim in the team as well as the number one left back as well. So really disappointing. And it's just one of those injuries that we didn't need. You know, it gets hit in the head with the ball and then gets injured come on, we've got so many injuries and then this happens, you just can't make it up anymore. So yeah, I really feel sorry for him. And obviously whether he might be fit now, he needs to follow the program. So he is, he's not allowed to play tomorrow or on Saturday. So it's such a big shame for us and for him, I think. Yeah.
Cheers for that. Cole, thanks for the comment there, mate. We are going to touch on that a little bit towards the end of the show. But I'm intrigued as well, like you are. So we will discuss that when we talk about the game for tomorrow. Bex, just want to get to you. So talk about injuries. Del Boy obviously went down injured. It seemed like he picked up a bit of a knock towards the end of the first half.
Yeah.
He was limping around a little bit. He then went off. You can see that he was clearly limping. He was sent back out for the second half. Now, fans will complain, why did Alex Neil send him out? They should have subbed him off then. But if the player's saying, I'm fine, I want to play, then what do you do? So that could have been happening. We don't know, do we? But then within 10 minutes, he takes a knock and that's it. He's out. And I don't know whether it's true or not. We're led to believe it could be an ACL injury, could be out for anything from a few months to a whole season, depending how bad things are. What did you make of that incident? And obviously, what does this mean to us?
When it happened, to be fair, I was surprised that he actually even got back up and continued playing, because to me it did actually look quite serious. But again, like you said, if a player's turning around and saying they're all right and they can get on with it, then they're going to try and get on with it. But you could see even straight after he got up and continued to run around, you could see that he was limping. He weren't running for the ball. He was just there as a number on the pitch. And then to see him come back out was even more of a shocker, because he come out limping as well. So he went off limping, come back out limping. But I guess when we're so tight in our squad that we've got, he's probably gone, yeah, I'm fine. So I can do a few more minutes, but probably like for everybody, he's gone and potentially injured himself a little bit more. And if it is an ACL, we're looking potentially 6, 7, 8 months, which
probably even further. I mean, if you look at Danny Mack, who's out for a whole season,
and Massimo as well. What he's done, his ACL. So you're looking the rest of the season,
at least,
which is a real blow for us, because he was just starting to prove what he could do. He was settling into the team, and I just think it's really frustrating. I think everyone's just frustrated at the level of these injuries and how quickly we get it. And I get it, other teams get these injuries as well, and we're not the only team that have got this amount of injuries, but it seems that we're picking up injuries every game, and it's to the players that are kind of the ones that are there full time. So we've got rid of all the ones that were like small level sort of thing, and then we'll just go for the players that we've got that can do our 90 minutes, and then who have we got to put on the pitch for them? It's just frustrating, and I get it that everyone else has got these injuries, but for us, it just feels like to pick them up every time, it is just like a bit of kick in the teeth. And we're going to be onto the youth team soon, aren't we? Let's face it. If we don't bring any players in January, who are we going to be playing? We are going to be into the under-21s and the youths. So.
Well, it's 32 different injuries to 22 players in the space of 4 months.
32
in 4 months.
Players.
Incredible.
And we've only got a squad of 34 as well. I think our squad's like 34.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like
it is an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke.
It's unheard of. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember a year. Like, normally we get a lot of pre-season injuries, and we was really fortunate this year that in pre-season, we didn't have that many injuries come through. And it was like, oh, okay, is this our year? But as soon as we hit that pitch, it seemed like, okay, there's one, there's another. Oh, look, we'll just do another 2, 3, 4. It's just frustrating. It is. And look, I'm all for physio work and everything, but what are they bloody doing? And all this sports science, like, let's start listening to bodies and play, and maybe the players don't necessarily look at all this technology. I get it, we've got it, but actually, if a player is saying that they're injured or showing that they're injured, take them off. Back in the day, that's what we would have done.
Yeah.
Sorry, went over.
George, I want to get your thoughts on Del Boy. Before we do that, just want to bring up Carl Bates's post. Just go back to the concussion. So apparently there's 3 levels of concussion. Didn't know that either. Obviously, Carl would have done some research on this, I'm sure. So depending on how severe it is, will determine when he can play. So, and the use of fact, Joe Bryan, first ever red card, apparently. So of his career, so it's incredible. It's a straight red, of course, you know. But yeah, George, sorry. So Del Boy is out, looks like long term. How much does this change in what we have to do in January with the January transfer window coming? So Massimo's going to be out for quite some time. Billy obviously is out at the moment. Del Boy's out. We're very, very light in central midfield at the moment. We're with Casper. And I'm guessing who will play alongside him now. You've probably got the choice of Kundal. Who else is left?
Kelly.
Daniel Kelly will have to step up potentially.
Bangor Williams.
Bangor Williams, if, well, who knows what Alex will do there, you know. But it's just, we talked about, you know, bringing players in, George. And guys, if you've watched George's TikToks, one you done, I think it was yesterday or today, you talked about, you know, players needing to be able to sort of stand up and be counted. And we do seem to lack leaders in our team. We seem to lack leaders both physically, mentally. We need strength, strength in depth. Is this an opportunity for us to go in the transfer window in January and buy some players? I'm talking squad players. I'm talking starting players that can really make a difference to our midfield, certainly at the moment.
Well, we obviously know what the strategy of the football club strategy is, and that's what we want to buy, the younger, inexperienced players, and then we want to hope that we develop them and then we can sell them on for more money in the future, almost label them as assets. That is what it is. We are buying assets. The important thing is we do in January, if we really want to sustain a playoff push, we need to buy players which are ready for right here and right now. Okay. We need to buy players which have an injury record which isn't so sparse. And we need to buy players which are experienced and also bring leadership, because the importance to a championship winning team and to a team which win leagues is you need a good spine. All right. At the moment, Millwall's spine is not quite there because we've got Casper, who is the best midfielder at the football club. And you've also got Bill. But Bill has been so injured and so sort of not here and there and not enough. You know, you can't rely on Bill at the moment. Derek is now out for a long time. I thought Luongo was a really smart signing, but he's out for a long time. We need reinforcements in the middle of the park, and which will be able to impact the team right here and right now. That is what we need. We need more leaders and we need more experience. I agree. Because at the moment of time, I don't know if everyone agrees with me, you three, anyone in the chat, Millwall are a really soft team to play against. Does anyone else not think we're really soft? I think we're quite.
Your word was it the underbelly, soft underbelly.
Soft underbelly.
It's just so correct. Yeah,
we've got a soft underbelly, and that's highlighted by the fact that when we go behind in games, we have only won one game since going behind in the game since the 22nd of October 2022. Only once under Alex Neil. And, you know, I mean, we got really soft underbelly. I think we lack a little bit of spine, a little bit of backbone at times, and we're weak mentally when we go behind the games. The lack of self-belief, I think, is quite clear to see. Weak physically, and just in terms of leaders, we lack leaders, and that's certainly an area which has to be addressed in January.
Yeah. I just add to that, like the confidence, you can really see that confidence when that goal went in on Saturday. The shoulders just went, heads dropped, and then there was no reason for it. There was still like minutes, like so much time left in the game. Just get on with it. Like you said, there's no spine into actually to do it.
This but is also,
sorry, Judge, just to cut in. Sorry.
Yeah.
The club's ethos, right? The club's mentality is you can't be soft. We're Millwall. You can't be soft. This is not Millwall. This is not our ethos. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
But
a shame.
also, yeah, when the players that have left, I mean, you could argue, okay, George Saville, George Honeyman, Sean Hutchison, Murray Wallace. I had this debate on one of the group chats earlier today on one of my all group chats I'm on, and okay, we're not saying those players should have stayed. I mean, they might have reached a point of their career now where they had to move on. They're getting to an age where they haven't quite got the legs anymore. Hence the reason why they've gone to lower league teams. But what we haven't done is replace those characters. You look at like George Saville, George Honeyman, Sean Hutchison, Murray Wallace. Those guys on the pitch were leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they if times are down, if we're at a goal behind, they will drag you back up and get you back into that game again. At the moment, I look around those players, and I don't see any leaders, Jesper. I don't see anyone in there that's going to smash their hands, say, "Come on, guys, let's fucking get back into this game. Come on." There's no one there like literally dragging them, forward. It just seems it just like as George said, they just sit back and they almost crumble, don't they, Jesper?
Yeah, I think, but it's this sort of endless debate that we've had in terms of what types of player do you want in your squad. These hardworking type of players like Honeyman, Sav, Hutch, Musa, etc., who will give you everything, but also maybe got sort of limited in terms of quality, as a footballer. And then we try to bring in more technical players who might not be these sort of grafters and leaders that we're looking for. But one thing I would say, though, when you look at the Pompey game, when you got Jay Cooper out, you got Ryan Leonard out, you got Billy Mitchell out, Lucas is missing a goal as
they're
well.
three of your influential players, aren't they? As in, we talk about leaders
and Luongo as well, being long-term injured as well. These are probably the four you'd look to, for sort of leadership and this sort of, if you want to still call it Millwall-ness, that fits the sort of the ethos of the club. And they were not there, and that was also easy to see, I have to say. But I agree. I think it's something you should look at in the January transfer window. My concern is though that Billy and Will Smallbone and these sort of players that if we're looking at the center of the park, they will most likely be back at the end of December or mid-December. So are you gonna go out and then get another central midfielder who might not play when they are ready to play? And I know that there's a risk that they might get injured again, but is that really the position you're going to be looking at if they are all fit to play again? That's just the one question I would be asking. But we need I would say we need still a few reinforcements. Sorry, in January. Again, I'm going to say right back, but there could be something up further the pitch as well, where we need maybe a striker as well with a certain pedigree we could bring in, maybe on loan.
Yeah. Bex, just to finish off the debate regarding the lack of leaders and big characters that we clearly need in our squad. I think I noticed it in quite a few games, but the one that really did it for me was Birmingham away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we're like 2-0 down, 3-0 down, we looked like a team of lost puppies.
Yeah.
No one was talking. Everyone's heads were down.
Yeah.
It's like we were just beaten. Like we just gave up.
Yeah,
that's how it looked like.
That's what it felt like on Saturday. And one thing I did notice actually after what Pompey scored, when they first scored, there was a couple of players even arguing between themselves, and that's something that we don't often see. And I think it was Casper Ballo and Derek. They was obviously all arguing over whose fault it was.
Yeah,
but that's something like normally it's kind of you've seen. There's been a bit of a shout. I always remember like George Saville was quite big for that. He would kind of put his pennies worth in, but they wouldn't all be standing there arguing. And it just really showed that at the minute, there's just no confidence in one another. For them to be standing there and having that little argument and that debate on the pitch in front of everybody, it just showed that I think as a team, they're quite rattled, especially when you think like what 4 or 5 games ago when we were actually winning and we were really strong. Everyone looked we were saying about how much we looked together as a team and how we just looked like a really strong unit, and it's just fallen apart. And I think as these games go on, as these losses go on, you're really starting to see the cracks kind of show. And when, like you said, we've not got a leader on the pitch or any leadership on the pitch, it does show. I think it actually really proved as well that actually we really did miss Jake Cooper on Saturday. We've all kind of said he hasn't been that much of a leader, but actually I think it really showed that that he is that leader that we all want and that we all need. Tristan, he done a great job, and he was trying to do that motivating of like getting everyone up and going, but he's just not quite got it yet. Whereas Jake, I think it just really showed that actually Jake he is our guy. He is that guy for that captain and that leadership.
Well, it's interesting to say that, because I think George mentioned it on a previous show that, you know, when you look at away supporters and who they pick out as our best players, am I right, George? I think one of your Charlton mates mentioned it before, didn't they? That Jake Cooper's one that always sticks out. You know, he's someone who they fear, both, you know, offensively, defensively. He's so good and dangerous in set pieces. He's strong, you know. And we did miss him. I think we did miss him clearly, you know, on Saturday. The good news is we've got him back tomorrow, and that gives a little bit more stability at the back, doesn't it, as well, which is good.
Just like one out to cut in, Joe. Charlton are actually 2-0 down in 5 minutes to Stoke.
2-0.
Really? Wow. There you go. The bubbles burst. Thank God for that. But George, with regards to the January transfer window, what would you say? We talk about, you know, we're needing proper, you know, physical players, leaders, both strong mentally and physically. I'm not saying to you to name names, but are there any kind of positions or profiles that you feel that we do need? I mean, you know, would you say we need another centre half, maybe more of a nasty kind of vocal centre half? Are we looking for more of a midfield number 8 guy that can kind of put their foot in and win tackles? Or what do you see as the areas we need to kind of refocus on to kind of give us that leadership that we're desperately needing at the moment?
Yeah, you obviously need a leader. I think it's important. You've got to be a dynamic team as well. I think at right back, certainly we need a dynamic right back and get up and down. You can cover the whole length of the football pitch, because Ryan Leonard, bless him at his age, and you never know with his injuries, etc. And also you're losing both Derek and Bill. Both of them, I think, are very dynamic. They've got good attributes to them in terms of their energy. They're very athletic midfielders, I would say. I think we need an athletic centre midfielder to go next to Casper. You can just break the ball up and then Casper can do what he does, and he just sprays it left, right and centre. We obviously need a striker as well. Someone who can hold the ball up and can get on the end of things, where Ivanovic at times can't, maybe, or when he's bang out of form, he struggles to do. So I think in general, all over the pitch, Mill will need strengthening.
Who would you let go though, George?
Well,
if there's anyone to release,
as in if I was to let someone go out on loan potentially, or
loan or sell,
yeah. Well, I mean, you've got to say, if Bangura Williams isn't getting a sniff into the first team, you'd like to think he should go out on loan, because it's affecting his development, not playing any football. I think Ray's Bangura Williams would be the first player. Although me personally, I'd have him in the team tomorrow.
I know what you mean. It's begrudgingly, isn't it? You don't want to see him go out on loan, but if he ain't going to play, what's the point of him sitting on the 21s? Yeah,
because it's affecting his development. So you need to send them out on loan and then see how he does. I think another one, I don't know, we haven't really touched on the wide spots other than Ballo, but I think Adamu Amaku is desperate for a loan move. I think his whole Millwall career at the moment has been a little bit mismanaged. I think he's absolutely crying out for a loan move where he can go into a different environment in a different league, League One, League Two, and he can just go out there and be like, listen, just be yourself, mate. Just be free, no pressure. Back, you know, be the main man. Be the main man at the team. Go out there and get your numbers up is what he needs to do, because 1 goal in 4 seasons clearly shows that. For a winger, he's been really mismanaged so far. So that's another player I would definitely, before bringing anyone in, I'll have Adamu Amaku go out on loan.
Yeah, interesting. Just before I come to yourself, Steve Morton, poor Disco Steve. Guys, he's unwell. He's got man flu at the moment. It's really bad. I mean, he's touch and go. I'm hearing it is that bad. I said in Bex earlier. You know, giving birth to a child's got nothing on man flu. I tell you, honestly, you don't know how lucky you are to be a woman. Honestly, Bex, really,
literally.
So his message to Carl Bates was, agree the found Delba was awful. He got absolutely nowhere near the ball, yet no card. And also disappointed, no reaction from his teammates, part of the reason Joe Bryan got a red. So what Disco's trying to say there, Jesper, is that, again, we're talking about lack of leadership. We're talking about, the togetherness in the group. But then again, when your young player gets stamped on, as Carl says there earlier, and gets fouled, why is there not, in the old days, you'd have George Honeyman in the mix, you'll have, Savile in there, and they're all in there grabbing him, fighting them. We don't seem to have that at the moment. We seem like we're too nice to play against, don't we, Jesper, at the moment?
Yeah, that was surprising. I have to be honest, though. I think I just missed the incident on Saturday, as was just in the other room. But in general, you should have your Danny Mac, you should have your Casper Denor up there. You should even have Tristan up there as a captain, you know. And I know he was just newly appointed captain, but that's what you want to expect from your captain, right? To be right up there and at least.
I mean, Alfie Doughty allegedly
Alfie
is
Doughty.
a Millwall fan. He must know more better than anyone. You know,
man, yeah, but you're right.
What it means, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that it's really disappointing, and hopefully that will improve. We have seen Jake Cooper starting to learn sort of these things. You know, he has been in the faces of some of the referees when we've had some nasty challenges in some of the other games, which is good to see because that means if one goes, you know, there's other players that will follow. You know, the captain. So I hope that there is more to come from Jake Cooper because I think that's one of the things that he's been missing as a captain to be up there in the faces of the opponent and be up there, you know, not necessarily arguing with the ref, but at least asking the question, why is he not getting yellow? Why is he, you know, putting pressure on them? And once the captain does that, you know, often the others will follow as well. So it's good that we have him back tomorrow. I'm really happy that we've got him back, even though we're playing Sheffield Wednesday. But he's more important to the team than most fans. I think a lot of fans in this forum realizes how important he is, but I think there's a lot of people who doesn't. So really glad that he's back. And yeah. But yeah, disappointing on Saturday. But it was just the whole game. I think it was just. I think that just showed the whole performance was just flat in terms of mentality, the approach, the way we played. Everything was just below par. So yeah, I feel sorry for Del Boy in that situation.
Yeah. Moving on, guys. We're probably to talk a bit more about tomorrow's game now. Just want to get your thoughts on the formation. Clearly, I don't think it worked for us against Portsmouth. I always find it's really weird when you're playing against a team that likes to attack in the wide areas. You normally go over back four. I don't know whether Carl agrees with me. Carl, you're still in the chat there. You normally go over back four, a flat back four, because your fullbacks' jobs are to man mark those wingers. When you're playing as a five and you're asking your wingbacks to push further up the pitch, you're always leaving that space behind for the wingers to attack those channels, which then drags your centre halves over. Now, there's an argument to say, well, if you push your wing backs higher, it makes your wingers have to defend more rather than attack. That makes any sense. But you've got to be really effective as a wing back to get your wingers to double up on you because your fullback will deal with it. So I didn't quite understand the formation there, Jesper. I mean, do you see us going back to four at the back tomorrow, or do you see Alex Neil tinkering with this kind of five formation again?
No, I don't think so. We've only played with five at the back once against Crystal Palace before Portsmouth, right? And I think that was to go, you know, 1-to-1 with what Palace actually came with. So that made sense at that point. But Portsmouth came with a 4-2-3-1. So that was why I was surprised that we lined up in a 5-2-1-2 or whatever you'd call it. I think I thought we would line up in a 4-4-2 when I saw the formation, which would make sense to me because I thought, okay, we played that before. We've had success with Alex Neil before. Okay, fair enough. Let's give it a crack. That wasn't the case. Tomorrow, we need to come flying out the traps, and we're not going to do that with a back five. So I want to see, if we're going to start talking about lineup, I want to see Alfie, I want to see Coops, Tristan, and Caleb in the center of the defense, and then Tristan on the right. We need to be bombing forward tomorrow. We need to be attacking this team who's so low on confidence, who's only scored 12 goals. And again, I don't want to jinx anything, but we need to be ambitious about tomorrow and say, this is a game we have to win. They played on Sunday as well against Sheffield United, a very tough game. They're playing away from home tomorrow as well. We need to be at it. And I want to see four at the back tomorrow, not five.
Yeah. Bex, coming to yourself next. Obviously, tomorrow, a massive game. I need to give a little a tribute, to Greg Essex. For our listeners there, Greg Essex is a Mill fan. Sadly, passed away recently. I think his funeral was a few days ago. And there is a post on Twitter. If I could try and find it. There you go. Call Mill fans, let's come together today to honour a fellow supporter who sadly passed away, Greg Essex. Please join in with a minute's applause on the 8th minute to show love and respect. Let's make it heard across the ground. So, any words there from yourself, Bex, with regards to Greg Essex? Do you know who he is?
Only briefly from the social media that I've seen. Just that he seems to like.
He's related to Joey. He's related to Joey Essex.
I think he's related to Joey Essex, from what I understand. And I think I saw that obviously Joey Essex is really quite deeply saddened, as are the family as well. So I suppose pass on our condolences to them. But yeah, he's just someone that I've seen on social media, just through people commenting. So I suppose 8 minutes, we're all applauding.
Yeah, cheers for that, Bex. Lovely words there.
Right.
So tomorrow's game, obviously, you know, we expect to see some changes, don't we, Bex?
Yes.
It's a game we're playing against, you know, the team that are bottom, 24th in the table, 1 win in 16 games.
Yeah.
You know, eight points and a 20 goal difference, I think they've got. So look,
Have they got 8 points? I thought they were still on like -4. They got 8
They're on
points now.
-4, yeah. They've
Are they on -4? Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Maybe it's about the point deduction. But look, they're a team we should be going in there on the front foot, shouldn't we, Bex? We should be attacking this team.
Yeah.
We should be, no matter how many injuries you've got, you know, players out, whatever, you've got to go in there to win this game. Surely it's a game that you start with Bangura Williams in that 10, who's going to be creative. It's going to try and make things happen. What's your thoughts on the formation, the lineup? Who would you pick in your team tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd like to think that maybe Rays would get some opportunity to be in the team now.
Start the game or what? What's your how strong do you feel?
Do you know what? I think starting, what's the worst that can happen? Let's face it, he can't do any worse than anybody else at the minute. So I think just give him the opportunity, get him on the pitch. Back four, I agree with what Jesper said. Like, I think my back four would be really similar, especially with Jake coming in. I'd definitely be looking so we said Alfie, Jake, Caleb, Tristan, and then in the middle, I suppose we do in 4-4-2. What for? I don't even really know what formation we're going to do, to be honest with you. I don't even know really what formation I want to see, but I do believe that I think Rays should be in the team. Obviously, we're going to have Ivanovic up front. We know that. I think Negley might come in, to be honest with you, to be playing in as well. I just feel really lost on who we can even pick. I think because we've got so many injuries. I feel, I don't really know. I'm just going to be really blatantly honest. I just feel that it's really tough at the minute because we're so low on players. And Maku, he's bound to have a start as well, because who else have we got? Like, I think we're just kind of, that sounds really horrible, but we're scraping to the bottom of the barrel now in who we've got in terms of who we're putting on the pitch. I just would like to say, I know that there's a lot of Amaku, obviously, haters, but actually he did do quite a decent cross to get our goal on Saturday. So if that cross didn't come in...
From set pieces, I think he's been great. From corners and free kicks.
Just an open play. He just looks lost on the pitch. And I'm in very much agreement with George in terms of, I think he's someone, he should have just gone out from loan from the beginning of this season, to be honest with you, to get his minutes in. Yes, he started to show his ability, but he really needs them minutes, and he's just one of them frustrating players. But I do believe he probably will be one that we will see start tomorrow. In terms of Sheffield Wednesday as a team, they are low in confidence. They've got so much going on in the background at the minute, and I think that kind of overshadows what the players are doing on the pitch. But they're probably going to feel quite confident in the fact that we've lost 4 now. And they're going to think that they've probably got their chances at the end of the day. And so they are going to come fighting, because that's all they can do this season at the minute, is just fight to just get them out of that relegation zone. But in terms of our team, I just, like I said, I just don't really know, because I just feel like at the minute it's just a surprise for us. I didn't expect to see half of them players on Saturday start. I was expecting one change, and we saw.
It does feel like a bit of a lottery, doesn't it, at the moment? It does seem.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really answer your question.
That's all right. Don't worry. So take you 20 minutes to you don't know. You've done that in 20 seconds. I'm joking. George, coming to yourself, could you give us something in regards to formation setup? Who'd you pick? I mean, while wait for George as well, guys, in the chat, would you start RBW tomorrow? Put a 1 for yes, a 2 for no. That includes you, Carl Bates. Don't you sitting on the fence to get yourself splinters on there. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Does RBW start tomorrow? George, when you've won 4 games in the trot and people are banging the drum for RBW, but we're not getting him in the game, but yet we're winning games, there's arguments to say, you know what, we're winning games. You can't argue that. But when we haven't won the last 4 games and the performance has been dreadful, we're lacking creativity, we're lacking goals. You then get an opportunity to play Sheffield Wednesday at home. surely you say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to give RBW a game. I'm going to put him in the 10. I tell you what, show what you can do, but you've got to start him. You can't bring on the last 5-10 minutes and ask him to change the game again, can you, George?
If there's a game where Ray's Bangura Williams needs to play or where he can start, it's tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow.
100%.
And I know Alex Neil's got it tough at the moment because of the limited number of options, and he speaks about how he's trying to maximise the squad due to injuries, etc. But this is the opportunity now to play Ray's Bangura Williams and give the fans exactly what they've been asking for. Give him the opportunity, which he probably and does deserve. And you know what you're going to get from Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. They're obviously rock bottom of the league. They're probably very low on confidence. They're going to come to the Den and they're going to sit in. They're going to sit in a low block. They're going to say to Millwall, listen, you come attack us. You try break us down. And that predominantly, and someone said it in the chat, this is where we predominantly struggle. Okay, we've seen this script before where teams sit deep at the Den and they go, you try break us down. You try get through our low block. And Millwall struggle. We do struggle. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes tomorrow. It also means we need as many creative players on the pitch as possible, which is, again, another excuse as to why Ray's Bangura Williams should play tomorrow. Yeah. And if those players can play, then we might give ourselves a great chance at winning.
Absolutely. Cheers for that, George. Coming to you next, Jesper, loads of ones in the chat. I think we had only had 1, 2 in there so far, but loads of ones. I mean, I tell you what, if Ray's Bangura Williams, Jesper, doesn't start tomorrow, okay, he comes on with 3 minutes left of the game and we lose tomorrow's game, what's going to happen, with the fans? How are they going to react to Alex Neil? If we don't score, we don't create anything.
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, he's in my team. I said it from the very beginning. I want him to start tomorrow. So my team would be Max in goal. It will be Alfie on the left, Cram on the right, Caleb Cooper in the center. You would then put Kondo, RBW, Casper in there in the triangle somehow. Again, I don't mind who plays in the 10. And then I would want to play Neckley on the right because there is sort of a partnership between Tristan and Neckley, who also played together in pre-season. And then we throw Ballo on the left again, where he's been at his best.
Comfortable. Yeah.
And then we put Ivanovic up front. I think that will give us a good chance to win the game tomorrow. And I just want to put in there, don't be fooled. We're playing a team who might sit in deep tomorrow, but I had a look at their games. They actually had more possession than Sheffield United on the weekend. They played Southampton away, had 57% of the ball as well at St. Mary's. So it's a team who can actually play football tomorrow. And we shouldn't just expect to have 60-70% of the ball tomorrow. I don't think that's how it's going to go. So we need players in there tomorrow who can keep hold of the ball, who can keep the ball, who can create chances. And they got some big lads in their defense as well. So we need to make them run as well. We need to keep the ball and play around them and not start going direct, because then I think they're just gonna eat them up, as all the other defenders has done against Mihailo when we play direct. So I don't think it's going to be the type of game that we might expect. But again, it's a team who's won 1 game. They've drawn 5. They've only scored 12 goals. And I had a look at the stats again. It's basically Barry Bannon against Millwall tomorrow. He's got the most assists. He's got most goals. He's created twice as many chances as the next guy in the team. So he's the one we're going to look out for. But we know that already. We know that when we play Wednesday, but even more so now, he's the only one basically influencing this team right now and sort of keeping it together. And that's even them only having won 1 game. So yeah, we need ball players in there tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, up front at least. And I want to see Ray's Bangura Williams start tomorrow.
Yeah. Cheers, that Jesper. Bex, I want you to get into the mindset of Alex Neil and how he kind of thinks, or at least try to. I mean, he's quite pragmatic at times, and I can't help but him thinking, despite we're playing against a team that are bottom of the league, who are low on confidence, and we're at home, he's still going to be thinking of areas of where they can hurt us. And we talk about Barry Banham, someone who kind of pulls the strings in midfield. Does that then dictate on who he plays in a number 10 role? Does he then go for a Langstaff or a Kundal who's going to press Bannon and not let him sit on the ball? Because obviously you give Bannon time on the ball, he can create chances, and he can pull the strings and make things happen. But again, is that a negative mindset though, Bex? Should we not think, forget Barry Bannon, forget Sheffield Wednesday. We're the home team. We've got the creative players. We're going to play on the front foot and let them worry about us rather than us worry about them.
Yeah, I think he will be thinking about how they're gonna hurt us. I think, to be honest with you, he's probably going to stick with what he knows and what he's already seen this season. So yeah, he probably will stick with the likes of Kundal and maybe Negley in that position. I think, do you know, I feel like it's really hard at the minute to try and get into his mindset, because I feel like one minute he knows what he's doing and then the next minute we're all kind of questioning his ability, especially with these losses that we've had. So it's really hard to know what he's thinking. I think the problem is maybe at the minute he's trying too much. He's trying too many different things at once, and he just needs to maybe stick with the one change or the one or two changes that we need, rather than go, let's change about 5. Is he overthinking it? Yeah, maybe he's overthinking it. And he doesn't need to overthink it, because he's got players that can do the job. But yeah. Sorry.
Bex, you got like this from Carl Bates. He says, "Got to go, guys. Keep up the good work. Don't worry, Bex. I will say to hi to Tristan for you tomorrow."
You better bloody do that for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, love it. Cheers for being with us this evening, Carl. Hopefully, we'll see you back on the show, Carl, one day. And good luck for your commentary tomorrow as well. Hopefully, you could commentate a rare win. Should be nice. George, again, I've asked a question to Bex, and I'll ask a question to yourself. You know, getting the mindset of Alex Neil and how he thinks and how he kind of plans things out. How do you see him approaching tomorrow's game?
I see him being quite pragmatic, almost. I can see him playing some creative players, but maybe more of the experienced players which he can trust, because that's what he's done all season. So, like Beck said, he's gonna go with what he knows and trusts. But it's important that we go into the game tomorrow and we just forget what's behind us, because the most important thing is that we need to stop the rot. And Sheffield Wednesday being where they are is, of course, easy to look at them and go, "Oh, they're rubbish. They're rock bottom of the league. They've got all their problems going on in the background, etc." Important thing is that we focus on ourselves and we go into the game with a positive mindset and win the game. Because we need to stop the rot and we need to start gaining some momentum, especially at home, with another tough fixture against Southampton coming up at the weekend as well. It's important that we just get 3 points tomorrow. Yeah.
I agree. Jesper, I want to get your lineup for tomorrow. Presuming we're going to go back to the back 4 again, we'll go for the 4-2-3-1. And guys in the chat as well, if you're still with us, if we go to a 4-2-3-1 formation, who would you pick? Who would you pick in that formation? Put it in the chat. I'm going to ask you guys what you would go with. So start with yourself first, Jesper. In goal, are you still going with Max, or are you going to give?
I actually just mentioned it earlier, but I'll go with Max in goal, Alfie left back, Tristan right back, Caleb and Jake in the center, and then again the triangle again in the 4-2-3-1 would be Kundal, Kasper, and RBW. Negley on the right, Bala on the left, Ivanovic up front. That's the team I would pick for tomorrow.
I'll go that. I'll go exactly the same one as you. The only thing I might change is whether or not I'll put Dan Kelly instead of Kundal, only because where Kasper's quite small, not slight, but a little bit small stature, Kundal's quite small as well. Although I do believe Kundal played really well against Coventry in the Cup, didn't he? When he played in the centre of the park. I remember that game at the Den. He done really well there. Whereas Dan Kelly seems to have a little bit more, a bit bigger guy, maybe a bit sort of like better in the tackles and the challenge. I don't know, but Kundal, for me, I think it'd be great to play alongside Kasper for that reason, to allow RBW to play and get on the ball. So cheers for that. Bex, how about yourself? It was a 4-2-3-1 formation. What would you go with?
Yeah, do you know what? I think like what Jesper said, actually, just like kind of reflecting on that, I think that's not a bad shout, to be honest with you, as a team to go with. I'd be quite happy to see that on the pitch, to be honest with you. So I'm going to make it easy and just stick with what Jesper said.
Yeah, nice one. George, coming to yourself. John Sim, a good. The rumour is that I think Femi Aziz is going to be in the squad tomorrow. I don't think he's going to be fit enough to start. I'm sure he'll be on the bench, so I don't think I would risk him. Would you, George? Oh,
You're
George,
muted.
can't hear you.
I'm muted.
There you
There we go. I think it would be a huge bonus if Femi was in the squad tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally play him, but I think it would be a positive just to have him in and around it. I would actually go with the same as Jasper. I would go with the exact same team.
I think we're all unanimous on that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it has a good balance. I do worry about Luke Cundle playing as a deep line too, with like next to Casper. I just think he's not got that size where he can get eaten up. Maybe he could get eaten up. But say you need as many creative players on the pitch as possible tomorrow. For me, Bangalore Williams has to play, and I think
100%.
Cundle in that maybe number 6 or number 8 role can get up and down. I think he's got the legs to do so, and he can also offer a little bit more of a creative spark. So that would be the team I go with tomorrow.
Yeah, interesting there that Roger there put Negley in the team. None of us have actually mentioned Negley, have they, to put him in the side at the moment. I think it's a case if you put Negley in, you're going to have to lose RBW if we do hope he's going to start, or you're going to lose a Ballo or a Marco, I suppose. You know, at the moment, I think what a Marco and Ballo does give us is the outlet. It gives us the pace. They can carry the ball up the pitch, where I don't think Negley does that too well. Negley seems to, we said before, time and time before, Negley seems to play better in the 10, doesn't he, rather than as a winger. But if you play him in the 10, that pushes RBW out the team again, doesn't it? Which is kind of defeats the object here, doesn't it, a little bit? Because we need that creativity, don't we, guys?
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even though that Femi's back, he won't start. You know, he'll most likely get maximum maybe 30 minutes tomorrow. I think he wants more minutes for him on Saturday when we play Southampton. But I can see him start on the right as well, Negley. You know, that's where he started the season as well with Tristan in sort of that partnership, and they also played together in pre-season. So I hope that he will start on the right tomorrow and be more effective than what he has been this season.
Yeah, I agree. So that kind of brings us to a close, really. I suppose the last thing I want to ask you guys now is your score predictions. And again, guys, in the chat, get involved. Put your score predictions for tomorrow's game. We're going to start off with yourself, Bex, this time. What do you go for your score prediction? Who's going to, if any scorers, who's going to score the goals for us?
I actually think it's going to just be a 0-0. I genuinely
I can see that.
I genuinely feel that it's going to be. I feel like that we're going to just cancel each other out. I think it's going to be a really scrappy game. And you know what? Yes, I want the 3 points, but I'd be really happy with just a point at this point. And I just think as well, like we are forgetting as well that we are 7th, so we're not. It's not like we're down the bottom, but I think because the league table is so close, yes, we're sitting 7th. Anything can happen with the teams below us. But at the minute, I just don't really see the goals coming. So I'm just going to stick with a 0-0, boring old 0-0 draw. But I do think it is going to be scrappy, and I just hope that we come out with no extra injuries.
No, I agree with yourself, Bex. Coming to you next, George. I mean, you do question if RBW is not in the team. I'm not saying he's the answer, but when we're desperately looking for someone with some creativity, if he's not involved, where's that creativity going to come from? Where's the goals going to come from? So that's going to be the hardest point, isn't it?
I think it's important tomorrow that we make a fast start, because if we don't make a fast start, you see the atmosphere slowly die to a slow death. And it's important that these midweek games, we don't get a lot of attendances at these midweek games. The atmosphere has not been very good at all.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Has not been very good at all. So it's important that we start fast. We're on the front foot early doors. So the atmosphere can sustain at a good level, can be sustainable at a good level, because if not, it's just going to die to a slow death. I think I was actually going to go with a 0-0 as well, but someone had to say it at the end of the day, but I'm going to change it. I'm actually going to say I'm going to back Millwall. I'm going to say it's going to be a very scrappy 1-0 win. I think it's again on paper. Listen, Millwall have to win tomorrow. Millwall should win tomorrow. Without counting our chickens too much, I think it's a game which we'll get over the line on. But we won't look back at it and go, that was a classic. We won't look back at that at all. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Millwall win. And I'm actually going to go with Jake Cooper to score on his return.
Right. Okay, that'd be lovely to see our captain back and come back with a winning goal, it'd be really, really nice. And Steve Moores, Steve says, any of our options are good enough to win tomorrow. And I make him right. No matter who's out there, our squad, we should be beating Sheffield Wednesday. They're bottom of the league for a reason. If we can't go at them and get the win, get the 3 points tomorrow, then serious questions have to be asked, I think, at the moment. And I like Alex Neil. I think he's a great manager. I think he's great for us. I think I can see us going up with him. Maybe not this year. I mean, unless it's through the back door through the playoffs. But he's a quality manager. But his stubbornness at the moment is hurting us. It really is.
He's a typical Scotsman, I think. With that,
he must be. And I get the impression, Bex, the more us fans bang the drum for RBW and want him to play, the more likely he's not going to play him.
No, he's just going to keep
on spite. Well, that's it, exactly. So shocking. Jesper, what's your score prediction for tomorrow? Please give us something more positive than the other two.
Yeah, I think we're going to win 2-0. I think we're gonna turn the table tomorrow with a win. And as Steve said, the team we could put out tomorrow is more than good enough to win this game. We shouldn't just be making excuses about, yes, we got a lot of injured players, but I think we have a large squad as well. And the players who could potentially play tomorrow should be good enough. And they should be players, competing for a place in the starting 11 anyway. So let's see what they can do. But we need, I think, the most important for me is how we approach the game tomorrow, how we come out the traps and how we play the game. I want to see a decent performance from everyone, because I think that's what the players owe us most of all, is a decent performance, because the performance says against Preston, we look tired. The 2 away games have been really, really poor. But I also think maybe it's just time before we play tomorrow to take into perspective. If you take the last 8 games, we won 4, we've drawn 2, we lost 2. On paper, that's not bad. If you sort of mix it around, say, all right, you won 2, you lost 1, then you drew 1, then you won, then sort of the pattern makes sense. But because we win 4, and then we don't win for the next 4 games, then it starts to look poor, right? So it's all about how you look at it. Sometimes we're still at the top end of the table, and I think it was Oscar who mentioned in the comments, if we can just stay in contact with the playoffs, after say let's say New Year's. We start
all
to
our
get players
coming back.
Yeah, we're getting players back. That would be a real positive. So, to the fans going tomorrow, get behind the boys. It's always easy when you win 4 on the trot and everything's rosy, but they need the backing tomorrow. We need 3 points tomorrow, and we need to get back on track tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing about it, and George touched on that earlier. I've gone to a few evening kickoffs, and all the season ticket holders that are normally there weekend on a Saturday are not there. They rather watch it at home on the box, whatever, and that's the downside of it. And to your point, George, like if we did concede a goal, you could just see the atmosphere is just going to drop. It's going to be so flat, and that's not going to inspire the players, is it? That's not going to help them and motivate them to want to get back into the game. So we need to be there in our numbers. We need to show up, and we need to get behind them. But equally, we need the players to perform, and as you say, sort of get off on the front foot. So that's pretty much it there, guys. So just want to thank our listeners for being with us this evening. Really do appreciate it. Obviously, tomorrow is a must-win game. I think we all agree on that. We must win. A draw is not good enough. If we, God forbid, if we ever lost that tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. But we do need to win that game. And I think the team that just were picked there, that we all kind of agreed with, I think it's a solid team, despite all the players that are out injured, missing at the moment. That 11 is a 11 that can beat most teams in the Championship, in my opinion. It's full of quality. We've got players on the bench that will come on and rotate and freshen things up if need be. But we do need to play on the front foot. We can't respect Sheffield Wednesday at all. We've got to play on the front foot, and we've got to hurt them, and we've got to do it well. So, guys in the chat, thank you so much. I'm going to leave you guys to give your final words. So start with yourself, George, first. Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I thought we rounded out off brilliantly, Joe, to be honest with you there. I thought we did it. I thought that was it.
Copy and paste.
Show that to the team tomorrow before they go out. Yeah.
That's right. I'm gonna knock on their dressing room door before they go out. Say, "You've got a quick minute."
Yeah,
and they'll go in. Yeah.
No, listen. It's important we stop the rot and we get back to winning ways against a Sheffield Wednesday side that are struggling off the pitch and on the pitch as well, of course, because of that. Not a great start not a great game straight after the international break. really poor performance, and you'd think that we need to turn that around. So anyone going tomorrow, I'll see you there. Hopefully we make some noise, the atmosphere's good, and the boys perform on the pitch as well. And by the way, Charlton are now losing 3-0 away.
Hey, every cloud, eh? You know. Excellent. George, thanks for coming on tonight, mate. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. We need George on there because George and I are the ones that appeal to the younger audience. So when George is on, it just kind of helps me out, doesn't it, George? You know, I can't do it on my own, can I?
No,
don't call me Del Piero for nothing, you know. Jesper, anything you want to say before we say goodbye to our lovely listeners?
Yes, get behind the team. You know, anyone who's watched the championship, you know how frustrating it can be. One day it's all rosy and good, and the next day it's all piss poor and we're going down. So get behind the boys tomorrow. We need to get back on winning ways, and we picked 10 points up from the last 12 at home. We need to keep our home record intact because I think we are improving. So yeah, 3 points tomorrow. I'm positive for once. I've got a good feeling. So all good to everyone who goes tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Jesper. Cheers for coming on this evening, mate. And then Bex, leaving yourself, give some positive words to end the live show.
No, so I was just going to say, if you are thinking of staying at home, don't stay at home and watch it. Do come down, because it is true. We do need that atmosphere, and it is really key for them to be down there. And if we do go down a goal, don't leave. Maybe just go and get a cup of tea, come back, regroup yourself. Just try and stick it out to the end. I'll be there. Try
a bit of meditating in the concourse.
Literally.
And come back again. Yeah.
But no, I do think it is really important that, as frustrating as it is for us as players, I feel like we're players at times, as fans, to kind of be there and not enjoy it. But if we leave, let's face it, the players they're not going to feel the confidence in us as well. Like, we're not confident in them, they're not confident in us. So I do think that it's just really important that we do stay. But yeah, look, I'll be down there, rain or shine. So yeah, enjoy, everybody. We will win, despite my 0-0 prediction.
Exactly. Bex, thank you so much. Brilliant. So look, guys, again, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Please sort of share the show with other Mill fans that probably haven't even had a chance to watch our show before. So anything you could do would really help us immensely. I really do appreciate that. Again, as you know, all the money we make for this channel goes to Cancer Research UK. So thank you for your support. We do appreciate that. Big thank you to our sponsor, Spectrum VR again. Again, one last get well for Hughes again. We are thinking of you, mate. Hope you're on the road to recovery. And again, don't forget, we've got the 8-minute applause for Greg Essex tomorrow, aren't we, Beck? So make sure you're there. Make sure you give him a nice little send off. And one little thing at the end of our outro. I know you know we've got the little toodaloo, motherfucker. That's something that I put on there. It's quite funny, actually. So Chris didn't know that this was on the outro. So he does his end of match, post-match analysis. And of course, Chris, I'm not saying he can't do banter, of course, but his show is based more on facts and his knowledge and the way he speaks. So, of course, seeing that at the end, he was not expecting that outro at the end. I think Andrew done his post-match analysis and is on his outro as well. So, unfortunately, if you don't do your job properly and you don't change your outro, you get left with our outro. So, I'm going to leave our outro on there because I like it. But look, guys, enjoy tomorrow's game you're going. Hopefully we'll see as many as you down there as possible, and let's get those fucking 3 points. We do need it. Come on, you Lions.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you